Hi there, Maggie here with episode 4 of The Vocal Human. This time I'm going to talk about false prophets and false messiahs, false saviors. Unfortunately, too often in history we've had examples of people who come along and profess to be the answer to all problems. And whether that is inaccurate based on existing problems, or unfortunately far too frequently artificial problems that are created by the false prophet, and then they say, look at this problem, I can come in and save you all from it, and use that as an excuse not only to grab power but also to then vilify and use it as a way of belittling another element of society. If you look at 1930s Germany again as a perfect example, there's a mixture there of how things came about. Unfortunately, there was a real existing problem of an economic downturn in Germany, caused partly by the results of the First World War and also by the general depression in the late 1920s. So overall there was a bad problem, and Adolf Hitler came along and said that I'm the person to solve this, and he was voted into his position of power, which he then abused. He then of course started creating the problem that the Jews supposedly caused, so he could use that as an excuse to victimize them. And then when things weren't going wrong quickly enough for him to give an excuse to do more, there's another example where he created a problem where there was supposedly a raid on a radio station in eastern part of Germany by what was said to be Poles, but was in fact an undercover unit of the Germans to make it look like Poles. And with all the propaganda that Joseph Goebbels was then able to put out, they used it as an excuse to then invade Poland, which started the whole Second World War. Fast forward to today, and we're now faced with a personality in US politics who is very much a false prophet, a false savior, and is trying to use a mixture of existing problems and created problems to say that they are going to come in and change everything and make everything better. And it is a complete illusion, and worse, it is a complete lie. Perfect example is the issues on the southern border. There is no doubt there are problems with the southern border. It's been a long-running issue, whether it's, Republican or Democratic governments going back decades. It's never been fully grasped and dealt with. But to try and gain an advantage, one party has said that it is an all-encompassing problem. It's the most important thing that the USA has got to sort out, and they're describing it as an invasion of immigrants, and they portray it as people who are coming in as being less than human and vilifying them, and how much of a real threat it is to Americans. This is complete hyperbole. It's a complete overestimation and overstating of the whole problem, and it's certainly not an accurate statement. There are individuals who've come across undocumented who have caused problems, but it's no worse, and in fact the rate of crime from such people is less than normal people. So anyway, they were making such a fuss about it that the party in power currently decided, well, okay, fine, if it's a problem, let's get it sorted out. And they came up with a very far-reaching, very powerful bill to try and solve it, and said, there you go, let's do this. And because that didn't suit their purposes, because they wanted to keep that issue open until after the election, they wanted to whip up people's fears, because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to work on people's fears, use that fear to gain power over people, and then come in and save them from it later on. They didn't want it to be solved. They wanted it to carry on. So when the bill was put in front of them, they said, oh, only joking, we don't want to do it now. So it showed up the falsity of what they were claiming. And it's not alone. That's not the only thing that they are trying to whip up. They're trying to whip up fear about people who are murdering babies. Hence the problems we're having currently with women's reproductive health rights, and all the things associated with that. They're trying to whip up, people like myself in the LGBTQ plus community as being vermin, pretty much less than human, a threat, creating this issue so that hopefully they can then come in and save people from it. And you can bet your bottom dollar that saving people from it will mean that they can carry on victimizing those people and reducing their rights. Another example is how they want to create a problem internationally. Traditionally, America and Russia have been on opposite sides, and it is America and their NATO allies that have provided peace in the world, and certainly Europe, for the last 75 years, which historically is an amazing accomplishment. And all of that is put under threat by a problem that one side is creating by trying to destabilize NATO, and by giving signals that are, instead of trying to counter the threat from Russia, is in fact accepting all the talking points that Russia would like to make and amplifying them, becoming friends with Russia. So much so that they're prepared to sell Ukraine down the river, and they think that they can solve that and then just be friends with a traditional enemy. And that's how they're going to save everybody, by just being friends with the enemy. But it's a problem they've created by destabilizing what has been so stable over the last 75 years. We cannot afford to take chances with such a valuable relationship with our global neighbors. It has served us all well in all that time. And once demolished, it will never be rebuilt. And the same is true of our democratic system here in the US. Once it's eroded, once it's gone, you'll never get it back. And there is a lot of dystopian theories and programs that are out there that people thought would never happen here in the US, but it is getting so much closer every day unless people stand up for it, against it, and do something about ensuring that it will never happen here. Again, I've not gone into specifics, but I encourage you to go out there, find the facts that support everything I'm saying. Again, I've mentioned them before, but go to places like the Midas Touch, where you will get the truth. They are unapologetically pro-democracy. They're not Democrats, they're not independents. They're made up of everybody who have a love for our democracy. Doesn't matter whether you're never Trumpers, Republicans, Conservatives, Independents, Democrats. It doesn't matter, as long as you love this country and the democracy which is at the core of everything about it, you'll find a home there. Find out the facts and then do something about standing up for your rights and for the preservation of everything you hold dear. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, but please comment, give it a thumbs up if you like this, subscribe, share this. I would love to hear from you. Any ideas about how we can make this better or future subject matter, that would be great. But in the meantime, hope to see you again soon, and bye for now.